Now, we will discuss the next topic of the chapter is rise of independent states. As you know that Bengal, it was the most important province in that time, and Bengal was included with Bihar and Odisha. The part of Bihar and Odisha were also included in Bengal. Okay, Murshid Quli Khan, he established an independent state in Bengal. He was the governor of Bengal under the Mughal Empire, but later on he declared himself independent and he introduced a new revenue collection system is called Izara system, and he made Murshidabad as his capital. After him, Sirajud-Dowla and Mir Jafar became the ruler of Bengal. So Bengal was an independent state which was part of Mughal Empire but later on became an independent state. Next is Hyderabad. Chinchkali Khan founded Hyderabad and he received the title Nizam ul Mulk by Mughal Emperor. He started Asif Jahi dynasty. Asif Jahi dynasty. After his death, his successors were very weak and they did not protect Hyderabad from the invasions. Next is Awadh. Awadh means the part of Uttar Pradesh. Saadat Khan, first he was the governor of Awadh and then after he became an independent ruler of Awadh. After his death, his nephew Safdar, then after his son Shuja-ud-Dowla became the ruler, and Lucknow was the capital of Awadh. Lucknow. Next, Sikh. As you know that Sikhism, this particular sect founded by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. But as soon as Aurangzeb killed one of the Guru Tegh Bahadur, then after what happened, Guru Gobind Singh formed a group of warriors that was called Khalsa. And Guru Gobind Singh through this group wanted to protect Sikh and the territories of Punjab from the Mughals. Aurangzeb was behind him. But the Khalsa means the followers of Sikhism and who were ready to sacrifice their life for the Punjab and to protect the religion. After Guru Gobind Singh, Banda Bahadur, he became the ruler and he protected the Punjab, for 8 years from the Mughals. After him, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he became the ruler. And what happened? Maharaja Ranjit Singh was a very big and powerful ruler. What did he do? The Sikhs were divided into 12 groups. He united all the 12 groups. And he had captured the area west to Satluj River, big area. And in that time, Europeans were trying, especially the English East India Company was trying to annex that area. But later on, English East India Company made an agreement with a treaty with Maharaja Ranjit Singh, and this treaty is called Treaty of Amritsar. And according to this treaty, East India Company accepted the sovereignty of Maharaja Ranjit Singh towards the west of Satluj River, and they also promised that they will not try to annex the territory of Punjab into East India Company. So after that, Jat. The Jat, they were basically living in Mathura, Delhi and Agra. Basically their main occupation was agriculture. Aurangzeb's oppressive policies were also against of Jat. And under the leadership of Churaman and his nephew Badan Singh, they declared themselves independence. Surajmal, son of Badan Singh, was a hero and successor of the Jats. The next is the Rajputs. Most of the Rajputs were involved in personal quarrels, because these Rajput rulers did not, in that time, before the arrival or invasion of Muhammad Ghori. In India, the Rajput dynasties were ruling in different states. But the Rajput dynasties did not have unity. That is why the foreign invaders got opportunity to invade India, and they looted the wealth of India, as well as they established their kingdom in India. One of the important Rajput ruler was Raja Sawai Jai Singh of Amber. He had great knowledge of science, and he built observatories at Delhi, Jaipur, Mathura, Ujjain and Varanasi. Jantar Mantar, as you know, is very famous, was built by Sawai Raja Jai Singh of Amber at Jaipur. Now next we will discuss about the Marathas. As you know, that Maratha kingdom established by Shivaji. Shivaji Maharaj, he was a very big and powerful ruler, okay, and he had even been arrested by Aurangzeb, but anyhow he escaped. And after his death, Shivaji died in 1680, his Sambhaji became the ruler, but he was captured and tortured to death by the Mughals. Then after Sambhaji, Sahuji was imprisoned by the Mughal, especially by the Aurangzeb. So Sahu's stepbrother Raja Ram carried on the struggle. Raja Ram, he continued, and after Raja Ram's death, his minor son Shivaji III was placed on the throne, and his mother Tarabai became the regent, and she took all the decisions on regarding administration. After death of Aurangzeb, Sahu was released by Bahadur Shah first. After release of Sahuji, then the war of succession broke out between Sahu and Tarabai, and during this period Sahu was supported by Balaji Vishwanath, and that is why Tarabai later on surrendered and Sahu became the Maratha head. And in return, Sahu appointed Balaji Vishwanath as a Peshwa of Maratha. And later on, the Peshwas indirectly became the master of Maratha kingdom. Balaji Vishwanath, he was a very talented, knowledgeable and capable person. Balaji Vishwanath, forced Mughals to return the provinces which annexed by Shivaji to Sahu, and Bahadur Shah first returned all such territories to Sahu. And because of capability, Balaji Vishwanath got up the power to collect two kind of taxes, Sardesh, Mukhi and Chaut, okay, from the provinces of Deccan. He made the post of Peshwa hereditary. After him, Balaji Bajirao. He was also a brilliant commander, and he realized that Mughals are weak. Now it is time to annex the Maratha Empire, to expand the to annex the territories of Mughals and expand the Maratha Empire. So under him, the Marathas conquered Malwa, southern Gujarat, parts of Bundelkhand and in the north. And he defeated the Nizam of Hyderabad and forced him to give him Chaut and Sardesh Mukhi, these two kind of taxes. He also captured Salsette and Besin from the Portuguese. So Balaji Bajirao was very powerful Maratha Peshwa. After him, Balaji Bajirao. Bajirao's son Balaji Bajirao. First one is Bajirao, second one is Balaji Bajirao. Sorry, so I said in the first one Balaji Bajirao. No, he was only Bajirao. Now his son was Balaji Bajirao. He shifted his capital from Satara to Pune. The Maratha power reached at its peak during his reign, because in that time Marathas became very powerful. Now we will discuss about the decline of Maratha. Actually, the Marathas' power declined when Ahmad Shah Abdali invaded, and he challenged the power of Maratha in the third battle of Panipat. Maratha, after the Mughals, the Marathas were very powerful, especially in Deccan. But the war, the third battle of Panipat, which took place in the year 1761 between Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali. In this war, Ahmad Shah Abdali defeated Maratha very badly, and it became this war ended the